Thanks for coming to the Lunch and Learn. This is kind of designed to be just lighthearted fun, but show you what some of the technology does that we have. So what I've got here is basically a business in a box, right? Probably looks pretty familiar for you guys. This is, so we've got one server, and then below that we have a powered switch, and then a power bank, and then we've got a firewall and a backup device. So pretty typical of a standard business for a small business, you know, maybe 30 users and under, they only have one, maybe two servers. In this circumstance, this is a virtualization host with two virtual servers on it. So it's actually a two server environment using one physical host. And typically when you have one physical host, you have a vulnerability, right? Like you don't have a backup. With a BCDR device like what we have today, it alleviates the need for that backup. So it gives you something that you can rely on. So to set the stage, what we have up here on the screens, this is two machines. These are remote connections to two computers. One is a server, one is a workstation. The right-hand side is the server, the left-hand side is the workstation. So these machines, we can surf the web. It looks like we're looking at buying shoes. We can go online, we can see what else is out there, etc. It's all live, it's all working, right? And so we also have on the left-hand side an active ping going out to probably Google, I would guess. So on this machine, I am going to, let's see, I'm going to create a text document, okay? So we're gonna bring up Notepad. These work a little bit slow because we didn't give them much memory, but we're gonna bring up a text document, and I'm gonna say, Richie was here, okay? And I'm gonna timestamp this. We'll call it 11:21. And I'm gonna save that file, and I'm gonna save it to my desktop. Okay, and then when we minimize this, you can see that the document's here, okay? Now, the point that we're trying to prove is that we can recover these files pretty quickly. So before we get to that, let's go back to the business in the box. So what we've got here is our server, same thing. We've got a connection going out to Google. This is we call it a ping. It's an echo response, just Marco Polo type of thing. And then this screen here, this is called ILO. This is integrated lights out. So this is a back-end feature of the server that we as IT people use to access the server when it's dark. So if this server were powered off, but I have a back-end network to ILO, I can actually boot the server from being powered off and get to the system chassis essentially. So a couple things to point out here. So we have all kinds of redundancy, right? A lot of people think that when it comes to a server, who here has heard of RAID? Anyone? No? Okay. So RAID is redundant array of inexpensive disk, and it is a redundancy feature of servers. And a lot of times people think when they have RAID, they have backup, but it's not the case. What these are is they're components to alleviate a failure. So disks are one of the first things to fail in a server. A disk, think of it as a record player that's literally spinning round and round and round at 10,000 RPM for years, never stopping, right? So eventually they fail out. They have a limited lifespan. When we do these servers, when we build them, so this one you see 3 lights here, but there's actually 4 disks. This is a 6-disk chassis, but there's 4 disks. 3 are working. The 4th one is called a hot spare. So these disks are working in a RAID array, meaning that we can suffer 1 disk failure and the other 2 disks will keep things going. And we're going to simulate that because these are things that a lot of people don't get a chance to see. So we'll simulate a 1 disk failure, and then we'll see in ILO that the disk has failed. So right now, all of our status here is all okay, right? Oh, I want to show you one other thing. Before we fail that disk, I want to show you what else is in this server when it comes to redundancy. So these servers are made to be serviced while they're live and working. So we're looking at the inside of the server. The server's up and running right now. For example, these are the fans. These fans suck air in the front, exhaust hot air out the back. And this fan is hot swappable. So when I pull this fan and simulate it dying, the server knows, right? The server is like, oh, I'm degraded health, I've got a problem, I'm overcompensating to make up for the fact that my fans aren't right. As IT people, we can come in here, we can get a new fan while the server's working, right? This is your redundancy, and then we can reinstall it. When we reinstall it, the server will figure out that that's happened, and it'll calm back down. Additionally, if we come back to here and we spin this guy around, I can show you the back. So we've got redundancy on our power supply. So this is the power cord running to this. I can literally unplug this power and the server will continue to work. Everything's still going because we have two power supplies. So we have redundancy there too, right? All of these redundancies are made to give us time to fix a failed component, but what they don't do is they are not backups. And the reason I'm showing that is because often it's misconceived as being a protection, and it's really not. So the server's still going, nothing's changed even though we killed the power supply. So next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna fail a drive. So these drives, this is a hard drive. It's literally, if you were holding on to it, you can still feel it spinning. These things spin at 10,000 RPMs, and this is a 1.2 terabyte drive. Okay, so this server will go into a failed state once we go into, or once we see ILO. It'll take it a minute. These two drives are red because they're indicating, hey, don't eject these, right? This server is running. These are virtual machines running on this server. Everything is still working. You can see the ping still running, okay? Now, eventually this will refresh. Oh, there it goes. There, so it went degraded. You want to show them what the array looks like? So we can go to the system health and we can see that the storage is degraded, and it'll tell us specifically that one of the drives has failed. Okay, so now our RAID has got us, our RAID has our back. We're still functioning. Typically what we would do is we would order a new drive, we would take this drive and we would stick it in the server and it would start a rebuild process. And so what happens is the two disks that are there, they're gonna talk to the third disk and say, okay, here's all the stuff that we know and let's get you back up to speed. And they're gonna rebuild the stuff. This now has switched into rebuilding, okay? So getting to some of the magic, we're in a rebuilding state, but we're still vulnerable, right? Because that disk is gonna take a while. It's probably, for a server running 2 VMs like this, it's probably gonna take that about 2 hours to rebuild, okay? So in that meantime, we do have a vulnerability. We cannot suffer another failure. We can combat that by increasing our RAID array to like a RAID 10. But so the way it works is for a RAID 5, you have 2 disks plus one for parity, so you gotta buy 3 to get the volume of 2. RAID 10, you gotta buy 4 to get the volume of 2. RAID 50, you gotta buy 6 to get the volume of 3. So there's trade-offs in cost and budget and stuff like that. Ultimately, for small business, typically it's a RAID 5, and 1 disk failure is usually okay, especially with a hot spare. Because we had that hot spare, that 4th disk that wasn't lit up, it actually jumped in and took place. You know, so the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna simulate the worst case scenario is an actual catastrophic failure, right? So we're gonna go back and we're gonna eject that disk. So we're back into a failed state, but now we're gonna eject 2 disks. So what's gonna happen is you're gonna see that things start to lock up, okay? The server will eventually crash once it figures out that things have happened. And this is a catastrophic failure. You cannot suffer a 2 disk loss on a RAID 5 array, okay?
Hot spare.
Was it?
I believe so.
Well, we can just eject them all. How about that? All right. Well, if the server doesn't crash now, then we're a freaking great IT company. So the server is locked up. These are probably not moving anymore. Does this work? This still works?
Correct. It's still pinging.
If you start to do stuff.
Yeah, it's gonna start failing. It's gonna start not being able to do stuff. Okay? Yeah, so the server's crashed. It's crashed hard. So what do we do when we're in this situation? Right? How about We could even do that. We could shut it down completely, right? What do? Well, if you're a client of Stack Cyber, we're gonna call up. So we have 2 scenarios here. Scenario number 1, ring, ring.
Thank you for calling Stack Cyber. Go for Ribby.
Go for Ribby. Hey Ribby, our server screens have all gone dark and the server is not lit. I don't know what's going on. We're stuck.
Sorry to hear that. Let me go ahead and take a look real quickly. It looks like you're on our standard plan and you don't have BCDR. Let me go ahead and get you over to the sales team. It's going to take probably about 2 weeks to procure a new server. In the meantime, we're going to go ahead and start backing up your data from the cloud. That should take a couple days.
Yes. Okay. Well, that doesn't sound good. What can I do?
Well, I apologize, but you're kind of shit out of luck.
Fine. Bye. Click. So, a common misnomer is even though you have a server, even though you have backup, when you have a catastrophic failure, people don't realize that you don't have business continuity, right? So, it's the God's honest truth. That's what happens. We have to go buy you a server, which can take 5 days to get a server from Dell. And then we've got to download your data to the server, which can take another 2 or 3 days. And then we have to build it, which is going to take about 15, 20 hours. I mean, this is all time where you are literally down. You have no alternative plan, right? So, ring, ring.
Thank you for calling Stack Cyber. Go for Ribby.
Hi, Ribby. Our server, this is scenario 2, our server is down and crashed, and I don't know what to do. Can you help us out?
Yeah, let me go ahead and look you up. Oh, it looks like you're a BCDR client. Give me about a minute. I'll go ahead and start scooting up your VMs off your device, and they should be live in about 90 seconds.
Amazing. Thank you, Stack. You're the greatest ever. So, what we're doing, this right here, this little guy right here, this is our BCDR device. It's essentially a computer, right? It's a computer running a backup job. This is a Datto device made by Kaseya, which is a brand that we really love. They're super solid. These have been in the marketplace for years. They're extremely reliable, and we've had companies run on these for months. So this is a BCDR, this business continuity and disaster recovery. So what's happening right now in the background is Stack Cyber is logging into this device. Now, because we have a backup of this server and those VMs, they can virtualize those on this device right here. And then we can continue doing business and working and running while we wait to go get that server. You still need to do that. You still have to go buy a server. You don't have a spare, or maybe we use an old one, I don't know. But you still have all of that downtime. But with this, we can recover much quicker. So, are you able to connect to the device?
On the front coast.
All right, so while they're recovering to this device, who's got questions about this? No one?
What is it, Dad? What actually is it?
Datto's the brand. It's just a backup, a business continuity device. It's basically a computer. We have different sizes. This is a small one made for small business. They have some that are as big as this box right here. So it depends on how much data that you need to back up and how many virtual machines that you're backing up and how much it has to apply its work. So it looks like the virtual machines are up and they are logging in now. So this Datto device can do a couple of different things. Not only can it virtualize, but we can also do bare metal recovery. So we could grab a different server and we could use this backup job and recover it back to the server and put it right back to the state that it was.
So you're talking about the Datto cloud?
Yeah, so this Datto device, thank you, this Datto device replicates its backup job to the cloud as well. So let's say, for example, we have a fire and not only do we lose the server, but we also lose this local Datto device. Well, we can still go to our console and we can virtualize these 2 workstations in the Datto cloud on top of the ability to do it here. So if it's local, if it's up local, then we can just recover you locally and you can work local. But if your local is gone and that's not an option, we can restore you to the Datto cloud. And it's all included in the plan that comes with the appliance. And these appliances are not crazy expensive. Like this little guy here is like $175 a month. I mean, if you think about the ability to restore that file, the server's down, the file's still up there, it's still working. The ability to restore that in that amount of time for that amount of money to have business continuity is invaluable. It really is. And that's what these appliances do. A lot of people don't know about them. A lot of people just have standard backup. Even if you had, let's say, Carbonite. Everyone heard of Carbonite? No? Really? No, Veeam is enterprise, but Carbonite is consumer based. A lot of people use, or how about Apple Cloud, Apple Backup? Everyone's heard of that, right? If you have a Mac and you're using Apple Backup and you have to get a new Mac, do you know how long it takes to pull all of that stuff down? It takes time. It takes a lot of time. This is the same. You would have to restore all that data down from the cloud. It takes time. These devices store a local copy and they make it fast. So that's kind of it. That's the nutshell. We've recovered. We see that the document's there. You know, it's 15 minutes later and we went through all of that stuff. Now, beyond that, beyond the fact that you're back up and working, right? You're working, business is happening. Beyond that, we could replace this server, and then we can also do a bare metal recovery and restore the actual virtual host. And then it's going to say, well, while you were running on the Datto device, I can move all of those changes to the backup file, and you're back on your new hardware with all of your existing data and transactions. Pretty cool.
What is a bare metal recovery?
Bare metal recovery is the ability to restore an image of a computer to any hardware. So this server, when we do image-based backup, think of it as a picture, right? We're taking a picture of the server. Well, you know, not only does the person matter, but it also matters what clothes you're wearing, what shoes you have on. All of the stuff has to match for it to work in the past. Bare metal recovery is where it normalizes that backup job, and I can restore a copy of this server to that desktop over there, or to this laptop. I can make this server run on that laptop as if it's that server. It's bare metal. It doesn't matter what metal it restores to.
And what about a virtual machine?
Virtual machine is like, so in virtualization, you have a physical device, and we call this the host. And then the virtual machine are actually files that run on the host. Think of them as movies. Like if you download a movie and save a movie to your Mac or to your laptop, and you push play and the movie plays, that's your server. We push play and the server runs. The virtual machine runs. You can start it and stop it and all of that stuff right on the fly.
So what compares to a Datto? What's another type of device that would be
There's some out there. There's one called Turnkey. We've not really dealt with them. We've always been Datto. Datto has been the industry standard for 10 years. They are full stop, in my opinion, full stop the industry standard for bare metal recovery. Before that, because I'm old and I've been doing IT longer than some of these kids have been alive, before that we used Acronis. True Image, and we could take image-based backups with Acronis, but that product just hasn't really survived like Datto has.